Dead Space releases on January 27th for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, and is being sold for $70. It's being made by Motive Studio, who formerly made Star Wars Squadrons, led that game, but also before then made the story part of Star Wars Battlefront 2. This is a remake to the original Dead Space made by Visceral Games back in 2008, and therefore follows the original game quite closely. There are some changes, though, starting with our lead character, Isaac Clarke. Not only does he get a fresh coat of paint visually, but he also speaks now. Originally, he didn't speak until Dead Space 2, but in this game, he is reprised by his original voice actor, Gunnar Wright. Along with Isaac, the game itself has been overhauled. Visually, it's been brought up to pace with 2023 games, with an emphasis on lighting and audio upgrades. Along with the improvements you can just see, there's also some sneakier ones, like the Intensity Director, a program that controls over 1,200 variations of enemy pop-ins, jump scares, fog, and more. This is to keep things always fresh and to have players always on their toes, so you don't know when things are just going to randomly happen. While the main story is largely untouched besides extra lines Isaac will now say, Motive has also added side missions to expand the game, and more specifically expand side characters from the original that they felt they could do more with. One of these characters is Nicole. This will require players to backtrack through the map and perform different tasks. The story here remains the same, and to avoid spoilers, all boils down to Isaac working his way through the USG Ishimura in search of what happened to Nicole, while also fixing the ship along the way. Through this, he will run into necromorphs as the main enemy. The game relies on well-placed jump scares and all-around isolation to drive home the fear factor. Hallucinations are part of this as well, and through the game, you'll be eliminating enemies with very familiar weapons, including the plasma cutter. Some of these weapons have been adjusted more than others, ranging from secondary fire changes altogether to just visual tweaks here and there. One extra change in the minute-to-minute gameplay is the ability to change how the next area will play out. Do you choose to go into an area with no lights or no oxygen? These are decisions that are placed throughout the game where you choose one or the other to give players a different look at familiar encounters from the original, now handicapping them in some way while giving them benefits in other ways, and this will promote replayability. The game itself originally was not all that long, coming in just around 11 hours to beat the main story. And because the main story is largely unaltered, you can probably expect a similar length, but when adding in the additional content, you can expect to see the time go up by somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 hours. One added feature to make the game even more streamlined from a playing experience is the map and the loading times. The map has been adjusted to allow players to better view where they are and where they're going, and the loading times have been eliminated altogether. The game is going to be utilizing a one-shot camera, so when the game starts, that's it. No more loading behind it, which will allow you to go forwards and backwards throughout the map as you please. The original game was praised for its brutal and intense gameplay, and not only has that been visually improved for 2023, but it's even more brutal now. Dismemberments are still there, and now there's a bigger sense of actually cutting through skin. It's a big feature the developers have talked about. Ultimately, you're cutting through the skin and bones to make it just seem a little bit more realistic. Even the audio has been upgraded to dynamically react to when Isaac is and isn't hurt. At the end of the day, the original Dead Space made a huge mark on the horror genre in gaming, with numerous games trying to recreate its magic throughout the years. This remake is largely looking like everything the original did, and then some more. Still terrifying, still intense, same big story beats along with the twist, and then adding in some of its own additions. Motive will next be working on the Iron Man game, but this may very well get Dead Space back on the map and help usher in a new original game. And with John Carpenter accidentally announcing that there's a Dead Space movie going on, it seems like it's not just going to be games that Dead Space is coming back in. It seems like this is a push to get Dead Space back in multiple mediums. So let me know what you guys think about the game in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.